This is the Empire of Kindness, where we tell the stories that don't always make headlines. Stories about the small choices that show who we really are when things get hard. I'm Matthew McInnes. Today's story takes us to Southern California, a region used to sun, drought, and more often than anyone would like, wildfires. In 2021, one of those fires broke out in the hills just outside of town. It moved fast, fueled by dry brush and heat, burning through thousands of acres in a matter of hours. The people running from the fire were terrified, tired, and carrying what they could rescue from their homes. But the people running toward it, they were firefighters, paramedics, first responders, and they were everywhere. Which brings us to a little corner coffee shop downtown and the decision they made when the smoke rolled in. The shop was called Common Ground. It was locally owned, run by a husband and wife, both lifelong Californians. They'd been through fire seasons before. They knew what came next: evacuations, road closures, and uncertainty. Also, responders working around the clock. So they put a handwritten sign on the door. Nothing fancy, just a marker on cardboard, taped up at eye level. It said, "First responders, your coffee is on us. Thank you." No coupons, no limits, no expiration date. If you wore a badge, carried a radio, or wore gear streaked with ash, your drink was free. It wasn't a PR stunt. They didn't post it online. They didn't call the media. It was just something they decided to do because it was something they could do. Word got around fast. Within a day, firefighters started stopping by in groups, some after night shifts, some between calls. They didn't linger long, but they came in dusty, exhausted, faces drawn, and left with something hot in their hands. The owners said it wasn't just about the coffee. It was about giving people a place to breathe for 2 minutes, a place to feel human in the middle of chaos. One of the baristas later told the Los Angeles Times, "They looked like they hadn't slept. Some didn't even want to sit down. They just wanted warmth, caffeine, and a second of normal." They got it, and they never had to ask. But something else happened. Customers noticed, and they started doing their part. One woman walked in and handed the cashier a $50 bill. She said, "Use this for whoever comes in next." She didn't stay. She didn't even order anything. A man dropped off a box of protein bars and left a note that read, "For the crews. Thank you for keeping our town standing." Other regulars donated money to keep the free coffee flowing. By the end of the week, the coffee shop had enough in donations to cover drinks for every responder who came through their doors, no matter how long the fire lasted. They never ran out. We sometimes underestimate what a cup of coffee can mean. Not because of the caffeine, but because of what it represents. In that moment, it meant you're seen, you're appreciated, you matter. It also said, we can't carry the hoses, but we can carry you, just a little. When a community is in crisis, everyone finds their role. Some evacuate, some respond. Some keep the lights on. Some keep the coffee hot. And that matters, because kindness isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's a hot drink handed over the counter with no expectation of anything in return. The fire burned for days, but thanks to first responders, it was contained before it reached the heart of town. No lives lost, dozens of homes saved. And while the headlines focused on acreage and containment lines, what stayed with people were the smaller things: the free drinks, the thank you notes taped to the window, the baristas who came in early and stayed late, not because they had to, but because they wanted to help in the way that they could. The owners of Common Ground never asked for attention, but in the weeks after, more people came through their doors than ever before, not just because of the coffee, but because of what the place had come to stand for. It was a reminder that even in the middle of disaster, generosity holds and kindness keeps serving. Thanks for listening to the Empire of Kindness. If you've seen or experienced a moment like this, where someone showed up simply because it was the right thing to do, I'd love to hear your story. Share it at matthew@theempireofkindness.com and visit us at pod.theempireofkindness.com for more stories. If you found this story inspiring, please consider sharing it with your friends. Until next time, I'm Matthew McInnes. Remember, kindness first, kindness always. Let's build an empire of kindness.